What does it truly mean to be intelligent? It's tempting to reduce it to a neat little number on a test, as if a single score could capture the full spectrum of human thought. But intelligence, the real kind, the kind that shapes lives, sparks ideas, and rewrites the boundaries of possibility, is far too intricate for that. It's a shifting, multidimensional force. Some feel it as an intuitive understanding of patterns. Others express it through creativity, insight, emotional resonance, or problem solving. And while we may argue endlessly about definitions, there's one thing just about everyone recognizes. Genuine intelligence has a kind of unmistakable presence. You can sense it in the way someone analyzes a situation, how they weave ideas together, how they question things most people take for granted. Yet, for all the admiration intelligence receives, living with it can be far more complicated than people assume. For many, the first noticeable difference appears in the way conversations feel. People with sharply active minds often find themselves drifting when discussions revolve around surface-level topics. It's not that they look down on others, far from it. It's simply that their attention is naturally pulled toward bigger frameworks, deeper questions, the underlying mechanics of life. Casual chatter about daily gossip or trivial events may feel strangely draining. Their thoughts naturally wander toward the philosophical, the innovative, the puzzling, the cosmic. While others take comfort in easy conversation, they crave substance, ideas that challenge, theories that inspire, possibilities that expand their mental universe. And because they think this way automatically, they sometimes appear aloof, uninterested, or even shy, when, in reality, they are simply wired to seek meaning rather than noise. Their communication style reinforces this impression. People with high mental complexity tend to weigh their words carefully. Before speaking, they mentally check the logic, the implications, the consistency, and the potential impact. This internal filtering can make them appear overly serious or slow to respond, even when they're just trying to be thoughtful and precise. Moments that others fill with quick reactions become quiet stretches of contemplation for them. And while this depth of consideration is a strength, it sometimes creates awkward pauses or misread cues, leading people to assume they're distant or hesitant. The truth is often the opposite. They're fully present, intensely processing, simply trying to get it right. This internal intensity can spill into social interactions in surprising ways. The stereotype of the awkward genius may be exaggerated in movies, but it's rooted in reality. Many highly intelligent people struggle to interpret subtle emotions or fast social rhythms. Their mental energy is often directed inward, into systems, ideas, and problems, rather than the fluid choreography of interpersonal communication. They might misjudge timing, overthink simple exchanges, or unintentionally say something that sounds blunt or out of place. And because society tends to equate social smoothness with likability, intelligent individuals may face misunderstandings that have nothing to do with their character or intentions. Building friendships, real, meaningful friendships, can be one of their greatest challenges. Intelligence, unfortunately, can be intimidating. Some people fear not measuring up, while others assume someone thoughtful or analytical would never relate to them. This creates an invisible barrier, pushing away potential connections before they ever begin. The result is that highly intelligent individuals often feel like observers rather than participants, as though they're on the outside of a world they'd like to join but don't quite know how. When others step back because they feel insecure, the intelligent person is left questioning whether something is wrong with them, when the issue is often simply perception. They long for peers who understand their pace, their curiosity, their way of thinking, people who don't feel threatened but inspired. These relationships exist, but they are rare, and finding them often requires patience and courage. Because social environments can be difficult, many intelligent people retreat into their work, studies, or private interests. They use their solitude as fuel, diving into research, creative projects, or challenges that stimulate their minds. On the surface, this can look like admirable dedication or ambition. But beneath it, there is often a quiet imbalance growing. Without grounding relationships or emotional outlets, the constant cycle of work and thinking can lead to burnout or feelings of isolation. What appears to be unstoppable productivity might, in truth, be a substitute for the social ease they wish they had. Their minds, constantly active, rarely stop analyzing. They consider every perspective, every possibility, every consequence until decision-making becomes overwhelming. what others do quickly. They examine from countless angles. Their ability to foresee potential outcomes is a gift, but it can also freeze them in place. They may hesitate for fear of choosing wrong or missing a better option. This analysis loop is exhausting, and while it produces impressive insights, it can turn even simple choices into mental marathons. On top of that, their brains crave stimulation the way an athlete's body craves movement. Routine tasks feel suffocating. Predictability becomes a cage. They hunger for new ideas, challenges, puzzles, experiences, anything that lights the spark of curiosity. When life falls into repetition, they often feel restless or dissatisfied, even if things are objectively going well. This inner hunger pushes them to explore, invent, question, and reinvent. But it can also leave them feeling out of sync with a world built on routines and conventional expectations. Perhaps the heaviest burden of high intelligence is the pressure to succeed. Even when no one says it aloud, expectations hang in the air like an unspoken contract. Teachers, friends, colleagues, even strangers assume they will excel, achieve, lead, innovate. Compliments turn into obligations. A single mistake feels catastrophic. Each success raises the bar higher until it feels impossible to step off the pedestal without disappointing someone. Much of this pressure comes from within. Intelligent people often internalize the idea that their worth is tied to their accomplishments. They fear failure not just because of external judgment, but because it feels like a betrayal of themselves. And yet, despite all these struggles, the truth remains uncomplicated. Intelligence is not a flaw. It is not a barrier to connection, nor a burden that must define you. It is simply a part of your identity, powerful, beautiful, challenging, and deeply human. The world may misunderstand you at times, but that does not mean you are unworthy of belonging. You are not defined by expectation, by perfectionism, by pressure. You define yourself. Intelligence is not your cage, it is your compass. You can choose how to use it, how to grow with it, how to shape your life around it in ways that bring joy, purpose, and meaning. If you've ever felt out of place because of how your mind works, know this, you're not alone. There are others who think like you, who feel like you, who understand the intensity, the curiosity, the loneliness, and the wonder of having a mind that never stops reaching for more. You are allowed to take up space in this world exactly as you are, no apology, no masking, no shrinking required. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you found this story inspiring or relatable, feel free to share your thoughts below. And if you enjoyed the journey, consider liking the video, subscribing for more content like this, and tapping the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep growing.